Now, we all have our favorite movies. Some of us love the movies because they represent our childhood, and these movies made us laugh, cry, sing, and dance, what have you. So, today I'm going to reveal my top three favorite movies of all time for me. So, let's just get into it. Now, my top three is very unique. And these are the top three movies that I've watched since I was little to now. Now, I want to say this: the list isn't saying that what is my number one is better than number two, number three. It's not saying that the movie overall is better than the other one. These are based on what I watch the most. Okay, one is already in the list of my top three when it comes to a horror franchise, and the other two is like what? And number one is, I think people who know me, like, okay, that ain't no. It's like, okay, I knew that. So let's just go on and talk about my top three favorite movies. So coming in at number three, my top three favorite movies of all time is 1986 Aliens. Now, it's not saying that it, like, overall movie, the movie as a whole is better than, like, my number two, number one is better than Aliens. Not saying that. It's just with Aliens, I watch the least, but sometimes when it comes on, I watch it because my girlfriend's on this. Sigourney Weaver, stop playing. Right? So, but I watched that the least than my number two and number one. But yeah, Aliens 1986 is my favorite movie of all time. It's my number three. And even though it's horror, is more action packed, like I stated in my previous top three of the Alien franchise. I just love the fact that, this is Ripley's chance to take down these aliens because she been traumatized by these xenomorphs, and not to mention that she wants to go home to her daughter, and then she lost her daughter who was like in her 60s, and then you get New who lost her mother, actually lost her family. So Ripley and New just gained each other. Ripley gained a daughter and New gained a mother. And I just love that even though Ripley was scared, but she was willing to face her fears when Newt is involved. So my favorite scene, of course, is when she meets the queen alien. But it's not so much of her meeting the queen alien and them having like nonverbal conversations. It's just the fact that when she warns the mother alien, like, you better get your children to step back. And when she backed up, I'm talking about Ripley and Newt, and that one egg opened, how she went mayhem. Oh my god, that just gave me everything, my darlings. I mean, she was just blowtorching them. And then, once she's done, she saw one of the queen alien coming, and she just shot one, and then she shot another one. Then she just went mayhem. She shot one more alien, and then she shot all the eggs, and then she grenade the fallopian tube of the queen alien. And I know the queen alien was like, you gonna kill my children? I'm gonna come after you. I'm gonna come after yours. Since you came after mine, I'm coming after yours. Which, in a way, if you look at it from the queen alien point of view, I understand. Why just come after me? I say, well, you know what? At the same time, though, your children did trying to attack me, so I have every right to attack your children. And you're one of your eggs trying to jump at me, so I had to stop it before it happened. Okay? Like, your children had kidnapped my child. But I just love everything and everybody's personality, from Bishop to Sergeant to Hudson. I don't think you have be keeping up from current events, but we just get our asses kicked, pal. Hicks, Vasquez. Let me tell you something. Not only did Ripley carry the movie, but who also carried the movie was Vasquez. I don't care what anybody said, because that girl was a G. She was a G. Okay. And I mean, it has everything. It has horror, and just the fact that now you're dealing with multiples instead of just one, which I think that's scarier than dealing with multiples. But it's just like, my gosh, how many eggs did they lay? and and and, and it's action packed. Again, I'm an action girly, so I love action. So it's just like with fire and oh gosh, But when it comes on, I will watch it. I mean, when it's a marathon, yes, Aliens would be that movie that I will watch, and I would know by heart. Like I know every lines, I can see every scene. I can even if I want to like mimic, like do a show and play like do a show of aliens and you know how people like stand, hold the weapon, cry when oh yeah, it's me. It's all me. I just love Aliens. I mean, it is the best franchise in the Alien franchise history. Okay, and it is one of the best movies in cinema history. I mean, and it still holds up. The the costumes, I mean, it's not CGI. These is all like puppetry. I mean, these are handcraft, and that's what I love, and that's what we miss. We get to see that like in Star Wars now, but we need more. Oh, maybe in Wicked. I haven't seen Wicked, but knowing that they handmade, the, please, Alien still holds up. So that's why it's my number three. Coming in at number two, my favorite movies of all time is 1985's Enemy Mine. I know people. I know y'all gonna say, "Wait, what?" Or some of y'all may say, "I have not seen this movie in a long, but Tom, I remember that movie." Let me tell you something. My mother told me that when I first saw the movie, I was a baby, and then it was a part when Jerry, I think, must have popped up when Davies dropped his gun in the water. I cried. I was scared, and the movie hadn't been coming on until it was maybe I would say 1996 or 7. Maybe I was 10 or 11 years old, and maybe the TV Guide channel. And then they said Enemy Mine was coming on. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch it because I think my mother must have recorded on the VHS, and I forgot what she recorded over. I think it was it Beetlejuice? Then it was Enemy Mine. Yeah, I think it was Beetlejuice then Enemy Mine. And then on the VHS, what I keep seeing is the ending when Davidge go up into the mines and talking to the drags, asking where zombies is, and so that's all I knew. My mother said I watched when I was a baby. I don't remember, but the only thing I remember was the ending. So when it came back on at HBO in 1996 or 7, it's like finally I get to watch from the beginning to the end. Now when I watched it and the part where Davis dropped his gun in the water and Jerry popped his little butt, his alien butt up, yeah, man, that scared me. I mean, it was so I had to get used to Jerry because Jerry is just so. I never seen anything like it for an alien, right? I mean, I can get used to the xenomorphs and the alien and Predator, but the Drax, my gosh. Like, why is he so scary? And then just the things that he be doing, like how he even swim, how he get to swimming, doing that little arm little thingy majiggy and how he glows and like the fire. It's just, oh my gosh, Jerry, you look so freaking scary. But after a while, when you start seeing the rest of the movie, it's like, dang, even though Jerry was scary, just how he gets angry. But Jerry is just a sweetheart. What I love about this movie is that you get two different people, different species who don't like each other, right? And they are stranded on a planet and they have to learn how to live together and survive. And it was they had gone off on a rough start, but then later on they started to respect each other and Davish wanted to know the Drax language. And really and true is almost like racial tension, if you want to talk about reality. Um, However, though, I think that Davish realized, and Jerry too, but Davish realized that the Drax really and truly aren't, you know, bad species. They're not bad aliens. Okay, they really are trying to protect the star system. We trying to invade it, and not only that, it has not had nothing to do with Davish's people up in space. you get people who who get all these drags as slaves and work at the mines. What does that remind you, right? But like David said, that even though we had no part in it, I think that we knew, not that David knew, but I think that my people knew, but we just tolerated it. And how David was afraid to tell Jerry that there's humans, not humans like me who works up in space, but there are other humans who would scavenge the drags to work in the mines. So, and then Jerry has a kid named Zombies, and then now Jerry is gone, and Davidge had to raise Zombies and get him to Dragon so he can be at the Holy Council to recite his lineage, and that's why Jerry said it's so important that Zombies know his lineage, and that Davidge teach Zombie this to be proud of who he is or was as a Drac, and that hits home, especially me being as a black. I don't want to use a race card, but it is like this. It's like as a black woman, you like we don't know where we come from. It's not like we don't want to, like we do want to, but when it's beaten out of you, that's what happens. But like with Jerry saying to Davish, make sure that Zombies know, and Zombies had a problem with who he was. He wished that he wished that he was Davish. I'm sorry, I'm just like tired a little bit. He wished like he was human like Davidge. He wished he would have 5 fingers. Yeah, but it's just the wholesomeness of this movie, and the the theme of this movie. I mean, it was just so phenomenal. The special effects, so 80s. Louis Gossett Jr. was phenomenal. Rest in peace. He will always be my Jerry. When he passed away, I cried, and my mother told me a while back that it was Louis Gossett Jr. playing as Jerry, and I'm like, not the dude who playing the principal, because that's how I first knew who Louis Gossett Jr. Was in the principal, and then when I looked at it, I'm like, that's Louis Gossett. Oh my gosh! And to realize that they didn't want him to gargle his spit, you know. Louis thought that it was a nice touch to add, and then that's when everybody who play as a Drake had to do. And the little boy, he played as Jackie Jackson, the young Jackie Jackson in Jackson American Dream, and you probably saw him in A Different World and Living Single. Yeah, so I was shocked by that. I'm like, that is him. So when I looked at him, Bumper Robinson, I think, when I looked at him when he was young, I'm like, yep, that's Zombies. Fingers? I just love the movie. I mean, like Aliens, I know all the lines to enemy minds like hell, through and through. Every expression. I mean, that movie I will watch on repeat nonstop. And that's the movie that I watch more so than Aliens. Now, it's not to say as a whole that Enemy Mine is better than Aliens, not saying that, but between them two, I watch Enemy Mine more so than Aliens. It's just that Enemy Mine is such a good movie to me, and whenever I feel like, whenever I'm sitting in my bed, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna watch Enemy Mine, and I just love it more and more and more. Yeah, so that's my number two favorite movie, and yeah, 1985's Enemy Mine. Now, number one, my favorite movie of all freaking time. Some people are not so shocked about this. The number one favorite movie of all time is 1939's The Wizard of Oz. Let me tell you something. The Wizard of Oz is my favorite movie of all time. That is my number one. You ain't gonna tell me any different. Oh my gosh, man, I was such a fanatic as a little girl, and still to this day. I remember when I was little, I would watch not the Little Mermaid, excuse me, The Wizard of Oz like crazy. My face just looking at the TV, just and then hearing Judy Garland's voice. I mean, I felt like I was Dorothy, right? And so I got, a stuffed animal, a tiger, it's not a dog, okay? But I named it Toto. And not only that, on I think it was Christmas 1989 that I got my ruby slippers, but it's rubber, open toe. It's rubber, plastic rubbers, kind of thing. I think I got a picture, of wearing of me wearing it when I was little. I was 3 years old, and then for Christmas I also got the coloring book, the Wizard of Oz coloring book, and I was you can't tell me nothing. Once I had my stuffed animal Toto, I was acting my butt off. I was doing like, the tornado scene, being on the bed and say, "Ooh!" I was, skipping around the apartment as a little girl, singing the Yellow Brick Road. I mean, I was just in it, and ooh, I think it's because it reached down the childlike personality that I have, and it never goes away. And I know all the songs. I know, again, like Enemy Mine and Aliens, I know all the lyrics. And there was a woman in an apartment right next door, and she said to me, and I think she was a landlord. She asked me, "Do you like the Wizard of Oz?" I'm like, "Yeah." So mind you, I was like maybe 4 or 5 years old. She said, "Well, I got a present for you, but you gotta wait." I was like, "Okay." And then my mother told me, I don't know how many weeks later, that she's like, we need, like, come with me. So my mother held my hand, and then we went to the landlord next door, lady, and she was like, "Oh, good, I got a surprise for you." And I'm just standing there outside, and then she weaved the basket that Dorothy had in the movie with the like a lavender or maybe light blue ribbon on top of the handle. As I'm about to cry, as a little girl, I was like, "Oh my gosh, oh my goodness." And I was like, "Thank you." And you couldn't tell me any different. I was Dorothy, and I put in the Wizard of Oz, and I acted my butt off. I said, I got my stuffed animal. I got my basket. Okay. I think I had the dress, but I didn't care about the dress. I got my plaits. I got the open toe, rubbery, ruby slippers. And still to this day, I watch it with just glee on my face because I mean, it meant something to me that you can achieve, anything, and that you don't have to get rid of that adult like personality, get rid of the childlike personality. That you don't have to be so strict on yourself of being just adult. I mean, take care of adult things, but like the part where it was black and white and turned to color, it's like we are living in this dull society today where everything is so dull and gray and black. You see it in buildings where we when we get into something that's magical of color, that just represents happiness and love and childhood. And right now it's like we never, we're not getting that. We just stepping into this endless black and white, theme instead of anything colorful. And that's why I always say, to people, keep your childlike personality. The things that you like when you were little, keep liking them. I mean, you can do like some adult things that you like and what have you, but if something that is childlike that is fun to you, then do it. That's all I gotta say. And The Wizard of Oz would be the movie that would never ever go away from my heart. Will always be number one. And I asked my mother, like, what is my number one favorite movie? She didn't even know. I'm like, "Mama, you should know. You should know." And she was like, "What? Like Aliens?" I'm like, "No, Mama, even though that's one of my favorite movies of all time." I said, "No." And then she was like, "I don't know. I don't know." I said, "Mom, it's The Wizard of Oz." She's like, "Oh, I thought you outgrew that." I'm like, "How am I go?" Like, "Mama, every time you tell me that The Wizard of Oz is on, I will run upstairs. Why would you think I would outgrow?" She thought I would outgrow Michael Jackson till I was 21 because she outgrew wherever who she loved in the Temptations. Because she 20, she always want to put stuff on me because she had gone through it. But then I asked my father. I said, "Daddy, If I ask you what is my favorite movie, my number one favorite movie of all time, what is it? He was like, man, it's hands down The Wizard of Oz because that's all you watch. I'm like, so I know who pays attention. I mean, I gave my mama hell for that. That's my number one, 1939's The Wizard of Oz. So let's recap. Number three is 1986's Aliens. Number two is 1985's Enemy Mine. And number one is 1939, The Wizard of Oz. So I am happy that I'm revealing this to y'all. And y'all let me know if you want to. What are y'all top three, top four, top five favorite movies of all time? If you want to tell me why, put it in the comment section below. And make sure that you subscribe, like, and comment. Hit the notification bell button when I post some new videos. And I will see you next time. All right? So peace, love, and happiness to all of you. Stay cool. Don't be no fool. And use a tool of what? Knowledge. Deuces. Bye. Ding dong. The witch is dead. Witch you.